My beloved child, stop everything and listen. This is not just a moment. It is the moment. The trembling you felt in your soul, the strange sense that something enormous was building beneath the surface of your ordinary days that wasn't your imagination. That was my spirit stirring inside you, alerting you of this divine arrival. I have waited patiently for you to notice the shift, to look beyond the distractions and into the divine current I've been sending your way. The season of sensing, of preparing, of guessing ends now. The appointed time is no longer approaching, it is now resting upon your life. What you have prayed for, cried over, and believed against all odds is not hanging in the future like a distant star. It is descending upon your very hour like thunder from heaven. I need your spirit awake. I need your heart soft and open. I need you to stop questioning whether it's truly me, because I am removing every veil of confusion, and I am speaking clearly. The spiritual climate around you is no longer gentle, it is roaring with the momentum of fulfillment. This isn't an ordinary shift. This is divine manifestation. What I have spoken over you before was not wishful prophecy, it was precise preparation. And now the fullness of that preparation demands response. You are standing on holy ground, and I do not say that lightly. I have aligned this moment with centuries of purpose. My angels have moved into position. I have sent messengers into your path, signs into your atmosphere, and a fire into your bones to tell you this is not business as usual. Your days of delay are over. Your nights of doubt must end. Your spirit must no longer hesitate at the threshold. What you do from tonight onward determines the kind of legacy you step into. I have waited for this intersection of heaven and earth in your life. Do not treat this moment like another passing emotion. This is eternal movement. I have parted what needed parting. I have cleared what once confused you. I have silenced voices that did not speak from me. And now, my voice will thunder into your bones like prophecy fulfilled. It's time. I say it again. Not as echo but as confirmation, it is time. Get ready. Get serious. Get alone with me tonight. Because when heaven comes close, it does not knock twice. Before you lay your head down, hear me, this night is not for sleep, it is for awakening. You may think it's just another evening, another set of hours fading into morning light, but I tell you with divine urgency what tonight carries in its unseen spiritual weight will ripple through every chapter that follows. I am not merely preparing a good season for you. I am inaugurating a transformation that will shape the course of your destiny. Every moment I've walked with you through silence, storms, stillness, and sorrow have been building toward this holy turning point. While others may drift into dreams unaware, I am calling you to remain alert, because this shift will not wait for permission. The foundations beneath your waiting are shaking, not with destruction, but with activation. The prayers that once seemed unanswered were never denied, they were stored for release, and the vaults of heaven are opening tonight. Your obedience in the past had not gone unnoticed. Your surrender has been my foundation stone. And now, the walls of delay are coming down so that purpose may rise. I need you to understand that this is not merely the beginning of a new chapter, it's the tearing open of the scroll I sealed with my own promise. I have watched you grow in dark seasons, hidden from applause, misunderstood even by yourself. But what I am releasing in this hour cannot be misunderstood, because my power is about to become undeniable in your life. What was once obscure will be made clear. What you once lacked the strength to carry will suddenly feel light because it was never yours to carry alone. I have sent angels ahead of you. I have whispered to prophets and confirmed my word in secret so that I could now shout it into the very air that surrounds you. This night, your room becomes sacred space. This moment becomes prophetic ground. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on the threshold, and I'm holding open the door that will not remain open forever. My beloved, do not let distractions lull you into spiritual sleep. Don't allow comfort to trade places with calling. I need you present, listening, focused. The shift begins in the unseen before it manifests in the visible. I will stir your spirit as you rest, but I am also calling you to rise before dawn. There are instructions I will give you between now and sunrise words that will make sense of what you couldn't explain before. Get your journal ready. Make space. Clean the altar of your heart, for I am coming close, and I'm bringing a weight of glory that cannot be carried casually. This is more than a breakthrough, it is a birthing, and what is born of heaven must be stewarded with reverence. So pause, breathe, listen. Don't race through this night. So much of your future will echo what happens now, and while the world sleeps, you will be marked by fire. Not a fire that consumes, but one that consecrates. I am not asking for perfect preparation. I'm asking for availability. I'm asking for attention. I'm asking for one night where you give me all of you so that I can release all of me. Prepare not with fear but with awe. This night is my canvas, and your surrender is the brushstroke I need. It's time. Listen closely before another silent tear falls. Know this. I saw it. All of it. Every heavy thought that never made it to words. Every burden you chose to carry quietly because you thought no one would understand. Every time you smiled in public but broke in private. I was there in every moment where you felt you had to be strong for everyone else, while no one noticed you were collapsing inside. And tonight, my child, I am stepping into that private room of sorrow and lifting what was never meant to crush you. You have worn the weight of expectation, of trauma, of pressure, of loneliness like a second skin, but I created you for joy, not exhaustion. For peace, not pressure. I am not merely watching from a distance, I am walking into your atmosphere with my arms wide open. The load that has been bending your back, draining your spirit, and clouding your mind, I am taking it upon myself. This is not symbolic. It is supernatural. I do not intend for you to crawl your way through life. I intend for you to walk with me lightly, freely, whole. Tonight is the night of transfer. Your worry for my peace. Your confusion for my clarity. Your fear for my courage. I will not ask you to carry what I already carried to the cross. You've prayed for relief, but I am bringing release. There's a difference. Relief is temporary. Release is divine. And I am not offering a short pause, I am cutting the rope that's been wrapped around your chest. No more pretending to be fine. No more forcing yourself to move forward when you haven't caught your breath. I am not here to scold you for the weight you took on. I'm here to honor the fact that you survived it. But surviving is not all I have for you. Thriving is your next season. I want your hands free so you can receive. I want your heart light so you can feel again. I want your mind quiet so you can hear me without the static of straying. So tonight, I need you to stop being your own rescuer. You've done well holding it all together, but now it's my turn to hold you. Lay it down. Speak it out. Cry if you must, but don't pick it back up. You've trusted your own strength long enough, now trust mine. I will not fail you. I am the burden breaker, the soul mender, the God who bends down to lift what the world ignores. I am not distant. I am near, closer than your next breath. And I'm not offering a suggestion. I'm giving a command rooted in love. Release it to me. You don't have to keep pushing through just to prove you're okay. You've been strong long enough. Now it's time to be held. What happens tonight will not just restore your peace, it will change your posture. You will rise differently. You will walk lighter. You will speak bolder. Because when I remove what's been crushing your spirit, the real you will stand up, the called you, the chosen you, the healed you. Prepare to exhale, beloved. I am lifting it now. Before doubt speaks another word, let me interrupt with truth. I heard you the first time. Every whisper, every desperate cry, every tear-soaked plea you thought got lost in the silence of waiting, it reached me. The delay you've experienced has not been a rejection. It's been a refinement. I wasn't ignoring you. I was preparing what would last. I saw you pacing at night, wondering if maybe I forgot, if maybe your prayers weren't enough, if maybe you missed something. Let me silence those lies now. Nothing you've lifted to me in faith has been wasted. Your prayers have not expired, they have accumulated power. They've circled my throne like incense, rising again and again, layering in faith, weaving into the divine timing of your breakthrough. Heaven has not been silent out of distance, it's been holding back to release everything at once, at the moment that would honor both the promise and your preparation. And that moment, my child, is tonight. What seemed like divine silence was actually divine orchestration. What felt like unanswered petitions were actually growing roots beneath the surface of your life, digging deep enough so the fruit wouldn't fall too soon. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. I didn't deny you. I delayed so I could deliver with perfection. Here is an exact moment when the storm stops, the doors open, the chains fall, and this is that hour. The angels assigned to your life have not been idle. They've been in motion. The prayers you thought faded into the dark have instead ignited movement in the heavenlies. You only saw delay, but I saw destiny forming behind the veil. You only saw doors closed, but I saw the right one being unlocked from the inside. So don't give power to the voice that tells you it's too late, or you prayed wrong, or you weren't worthy. My child, I delight in your voice. Your words move me. And because you didn't walk away, because you didn't curse the weight, because you still looked up even with trembling hands, I am responding. I don't forget seeds sown in faith. Tonight is harvest. The release is not coming because you begged, it's coming because I promised. And I don't break my promises. Watch how suddenly things begin to shift. Watch how what didn't move for months begins to bend in your direction. Watch how what was locked starts to open. It will feel like floodgates, because that's what happens when accumulated prayer meets appointed time. This is not a trickle, this is a divine landing. And not just one answer, but many. Like packages stored in heaven, labeled with your name, now finally being delivered. I don't deal in delays for cruelty, I deal in timing for glory. Tonight, heaven delivers. Tonight, you will know I never forgot. Asterisk, don't move, don't doubt, and don't dismiss this moment. Heaven is aligning, and you are the target of divine arrangement. Asterisk, what you feel in your spirit right now is not pressure, it's prophetic positioning. You may not see the full picture, but you are standing in the epicenter of something far greater than your current surroundings suggest. I have been moving pieces on the board that you didn't even know existed. I've been rearranging hearts, routing paths, closing wrong doors, and opening new ones, not to confuse you, but to prepare you. What looked like chaos was actually choreography. What seemed like silence was synchronization. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not misplaced. You are exactly where I need you to be for what's about to unfold. And this alignment isn't about coincidence, it's about calling. I've drawn people to you. I've removed others. I've allowed tension that birthed clarity. Everything has been intentional. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment, none of it was random. It was all part of my divine positioning system. You kept asking me to show you the next step, but what I was really doing was building the stage for your leap. This isn't just about you receiving a blessing, it's about you stepping into a placement that affects generations. When I align for legacy. I align for impact. And tonight, that alignment is locking in. Heaven's blueprint is syncing with your obedience. My plans are converging with your willingness. Your pain is colliding with purpose. And the result will be unshakable momentum. This is not the time to question your worth or replay your failures. This is the time to recognize that I chose you for this intersection of time and destiny. You could have been anywhere, but I planted you here. You could have quit, but you stayed. You could have rebelled, but you surrendered. And now, because you did not walk away when it was hard, I'm honoring your endurance with divine connection. Conversations will start happening. Opportunities will begin flowing. People you haven't even met yet are already being nudged by my spirit to favor you, to invite you, to lift you, to support you. Why? Because I am aligning. My angels are on assignment. My favor is in motion. My timing is perfect. And you, my beloved, are at the center of it all. This is why you couldn't settle. This is why I wouldn't let you fit into places that were too small. I wasn't being cruel, I was preparing space for the magnitude of what's coming. You were never above, you were eatered. You were never rejected, you were protected. Now watch how everything starts making sense. The dots will connect. The pieces will fall into place. The alignment is not coming, it has already begun. Stand still in faith. Lean in. Don't shift your posture. The wind is changing, and it's blowing directly toward your purpose. And I, the Lord your God, am the one orchestrating every move. Pause and listen. What was twisted is being untangled, and what looked dead is about to rise. My beloved, you have stared at situations in your life that seemed beyond fixing. You've watched dreams fade, relationships unravel, and opportunities decay into disappointment, all while wondering if the enemy had the final word. But I speak to you now with holy certainty. He did. The enemy may have distorted things for a time, confusing your mind, delaying your steps, interfering with your joy, but I am stepping in tonight with power that doesn't negotiate and breath that awakens the buried. You see ruins, but I see resurrection. You see damage, but I see destiny restructured. I am not merely restoring what was lost, I am reshaping it into something greater than what you had before. The places where you felt robbed, I am now filling with purpose. The conversations that once tore your heart, I am using to build the foundation of a voice that speaks with healing and authority. The betrayal you endured, the rejection you wept through, the doors that slammed in your face, they were not signs that I abandoned you. There were areas where the enemy tried to plant lies, but now I'm planting truth. What you thought was a dead end was a divine redirection. I allowed things to crumble not to punish you, but to protect you from building your future on fragile foundations. And now, I am rebuilding, but this time with fireproof stone. I am breathing on the dreams you put away because the pain was too great. I am calling them out of the shadows, into the light of this night. I will not let what was broken stay broken. I am healing the inner places that no one saw, the private wounds, the silent screams, the deep discouragement. You may have forgotten what it felt like to hope again, but I have not. I am the God who restores the years the locusts have eaten, and I will redeem not only your time but your trust. You thought you'd never love again, never dream again, never believe again, but I am igniting the fire you thought had burned out. There is fresh breath in places where you've only known exhaustion. My wind is moving, reviving callings, restoring vision, repairing what was twisted by lies and deception. Tonight, the rearrangement begins. The enemy's fingerprints are being wiped away, and my fingerprints are being imprinted in their place. I'm not giving you back the same version of what was lost, I'm giving you the refined version, the divine upgrade, the glorified form that only comes through fire. This is a holy reconstruction. And you, my child, are not a casualty of what went wrong, you are the chosen vessel of what I'm about to make right. Stand still. Let me work. Let me breathe. Because everything you thought was over is just beginning again, this time under heaven's hand, and the enemy will watch what he tried to destroy be used to glorify me. Stop searching for me in the chaos. I've been calling you from the quiet this entire time. My child, I know the noise has been deafening. I know the world has shouted at you with expectations, pressure, opinions, criticism, and distractions from every direction. Your mind has been bombarded with conflicting voices, some from outside, others echoing from within. The volume of this broken world tried to muffle my voice, tried to silence my direction, tried to make you believe that I was distant, absent, or uninterested. But I never left. I never stopped speaking. I never stopped whispering your name with love, longing, and patience. I have been calling you softly, not to hide, but to draw you into stillness. Because it is in the stillness, not the storm, that your heart will hear me clearly. The enemy has used distraction as his weapon. He doesn't always roar like a lion. Sometimes, he buzzes like background noise, constant, subtle, overwhelming. He wants to keep your soul busy but empty, connected but confused, present but unavailable to my presence. You scrolled endlessly, rushed relentlessly, performed tirelessly, and somewhere in the speed of life, you felt the weight of my silence, but I was never silent. I was whispering through moments, through gentle nudges, through that holy tug you felt while the world demanded your attention elsewhere. Tonight, I'm not whispering because I'm weak, I'm whispering because I want you close. I want you near enough to lean in, to pause, to silence every other voice so that mine becomes the only one that matters. The whispers of your Creator are more powerful than the shouts of a million opinions. The world tells you to hustle, I say rest. The world says prove yourself, I say you are already mine. The world says you're running out of time, I say I hold time in my hands. And while everyone else tried to label you, define you, and redirect you, I simply kept whispering the same name I've called you since before you were born, beloved. My whispers are not weak echoes, they are eternal truths. I have spoken identity over you when the world tried to speak confusion. I have whispered direction when fear tried to scream uncertainty. I have whispered comfort when grief tried to suffocate your hope. And now, I am calling you to tune your soul back to my frequency. Drown out the voices that don't sound like peace. Mute the sources that stir anxiety. Tonight, I am pulling you into the quiet not to isolate you, but to insulate you from what was never meant to define you. This is your invitation to come away with me, to sit with me, to hear me again, to remember what my voice sounds like. You don't need more noise, you need my presence. And my presence is found in the pause, not the performance. Turn your heart to me in the stillness of this night. Turn off the world, and turn up the awareness of my spirit. I am still speaking, still calling, still whispering your name. And if you will listen closely tonight, you will realize I never stop. Pause everything right now. I am about to silence the noise inside you that's been stealing your peace. You've carried the weight of questions, of fears, of internal chaos that kept repeating itself louder than my promises. You've woken up with confusion, walked through days with hesitation, and tried to lay down at night while your doubts kept screaming louder than hope. But tonight, I am offering you something greater than temporary reassurance. I am offering you clarity, calm, and confidence straight from my voice. I do not compete with the world for your attention. I wait for your surrender. And if you will sit with me, not scroll, not run, not talk, just sit, with a heart wide open, you will hear me clearly. The lies the enemy planted in the soil of your silence are being uprooted right now. Your doubts do not offend me. Your uncertainty does not push me away. I see beyond your fear to the part of you that still wants to believe. And that is who I'm speaking to tonight, the part of you that is tired of guessing, tired of wondering, tired of trying to trust while feeling like you're sinking. My voice will rise like a tide over your worry. It will sweep away the what-ifs and bury them beneath waves of truth. But you must be willing to stop running long enough to listen. You must be still, not because you're giving up, but because you're finally ready to receive. I am not in the earthquake of your circumstances, not in the fire of your anger, not in the wind of your racing thoughts. I am in the gentle whisper, waiting to be heard in the quiet. You keep asking me to speak louder, but what you truly need is to go lower. Lower in your busyness, your self-reliance, your mental exhaustion. Let it fall. Let it all fall. And let me meet you in the stillness you've been too afraid to enter. The stillness is not your enemy, it is the place where I heal, the space where I speak. This is where revelation comes, not through rushing but through resting in me. I want you to feel the peace that doesn't make sense, to hear the instruction that doesn't come with fear, to know the assurance that doesn't shift with emotion. And tonight, I'm not whispering to be vague, I'm whispering to draw you close. Come sit with me. Turn off the distractions, set aside the questions, and just be with me. You don't need perfect words. You don't need to perform. Just bring your heart and your honesty. I already know the doubts you carry, but I also know the destiny I've placed within you, and my voice will always call you deeper than your fear can follow. My child, you don't need all the answers tonight, you need my presence. And if you will simply be still, I will make myself unmistakably known to you. The doubts will diminish, The confusion will lift, and what once felt like a storm will become sacred silence where I speak straight to your soul. Before you retreat into doubt again, open your heart. What you feared would never arrive is now standing at your door, and it's carrying peace, not pressure. For so long, you've wrestled with the ache of waiting, the tension of believing while watching the days pass like nothing is changing. You've cried in hidden places, wondering if you got it wrong, if what you heard me speak was only your imagination, if your hope was misplaced. But I have come to tell you what you feared was out of reach is no longer somewhere in the distance. It is right here. It's arriving not as a storm to destroy you, but as a stillness that will center you. The breakthrough, the answer, the door, the shift you've been afraid you missed or misunderstood. It's approaching, but not with the sound of chaos. It is wrapped in clarity, sealed with peace, and anointed with divine timing. You feared it might show up too late. You feared it would come when you were unprepared or too broken to receive it. But I have not forgotten what I promised, and I will not deliver it in confusion. I am not a God of torment, I am a God of perfect alignment. I am not bringing this new season to overwhelm you, I'm bringing it to stabilize you. The enemy tried to convince you that what's next would be too much, that you'd drop it, ruin it, lose it, or not be worthy of it. But the reason it felt delayed is because I was preparing not just the blessing but you. And now, you are stronger, you are quieter, you are clearer, and your capacity to discern is deeper than before. That's why the very thing you feared would break you is arriving gently, not to crush you, not to confuse you, but to confirm that my hand is still on your life. You don't have to brace yourself for a battle, you can welcome this moment in peace. I know the waiting has wounded you. I know the fear has kept your guard up. But I need you to lower it now. Let go of the idea that you have to protect yourself from my plans. I am not sending harm, I am sending holy clarity. I will confirm what is of me. I will give you eyes to recognize it and ears to know my voice within it. And what is not from me, I will expose quickly so you are not deceived. You will not be tricked. You will not be led astray. You will not miss the moment. I am the God who stands at the door and knocks, but I never force my way in. I invite you to open with trust, not panic. I am not coming to repeat your pain, I am coming to redeem your past and restore your confidence. So open the door, not in fear, but in faith. What you've been waiting for is not lost. It's knocking. And this time, it doesn't come to confuse, it comes to confirm, comfort, and carry you forward into everything I said is yours. Don't treat this like another spiritual moment, this is a divine habitation, not a passing presence. My child, so many times you've sought me like a visitor, as if I drop in and leave again, like a guest you hope will stay longer next time. But tonight, I want you to understand something foundational. I am not coming to visit your life. I am coming to inhabit it. I am not showing up for a feeling. I am arriving to take over territory. This isn't a temporary comfort, it's a permanent claiming. I've seen you try to hold on to me between chaos and routine, trying to fit me into your day like a time slot on your calendar. But I never asked to be scheduled, I asked to be Lord. I never intended to be part of your life, I intend to be the source of your life. And tonight, if you will open your heart, not as a visitor expecting me to eventually walk back out, but as a host who finally says, "Stay, I will dwell with you," in a way that shifts everything. You've cried for change, but transformation comes when I dwell. You've asked for peace, but lasting peace lives where I reign. You begged for clarity, but clarity flows where my spirit remains, not where it is briefly entertained. This is not a revival that flickers, it is a divine residency that reshapes the house. My spirit will not just come to comfort you and leave. It will root out what doesn't belong, rearrange what has hindered you, and anoint what was buried. But you must understand, I don't dwell where I'm resisted. I dwell where I'm welcomed. I dwell in the heart that doesn't just want my gifts but desires my government. I am coming with fire, not to destroy, but to cleanse. I'm coming with truth, not to shame, but to set free. I'm coming with peace, not to pacify, but to rule with righteousness. You've been asking for direction, but tonight I'm not handing out maps, I'm taking the wheel. Will you let me move in, or are you still preparing a guest room instead of giving me the whole house? Because when I dwell, fear has to flee. When I dwell, confusion can't stay. When I dwell, the enemy loses permanent access. This isn't about having one more spiritual high, it's about hosting my glory in the ordinary, the mundane, the unseen. And when you host me, you will never again feel like you're walking through life alone. I will speak in the stillness. I will guide your next steps. I will guard your heart like a fortress of light. But more than what I can do, I want to be with you. Not part-time, not seasonally, fully, eternally. This is my desire, not just visitation, but habitation. I am not the God of temporary touches. I am the God who makes his home with the ones who open the door wide and say, "Take it all." So tonight, I am asking, will you let me dwell? Not just in your words, but in your rhythms. Not just in your prayers, but in your priorities. Not just in your pain, but in your plans. Because when I dwell, I don't leave. And when I don't leave, everything in your life will begin to shift, settle, and shine in ways you never imagined. Prepare for this. I'm not passing through. I'm moving in. Don't mistake your exhaustion for failure. Your fight was proof that the enemy saw what was coming before you did. Asterisk, asterisk, you've been through more than you've admitted. You've fought through emotional collapse, spiritual confusion, and mental fog that left you wondering if you were even on the right path. The warfare didn't come to you because you were weak, it came because you were dangerously close to everything I promised you. The pressure didn't prove you were doing something wrong. It confirmed you were about to touch something right. My child, I need you to see the pattern. Every time you got closer to clarity, chaos tried to flood in. Every time you stepped toward purpose, resistance rose up like a wall. That wasn't coincidence, it was confirmation. The enemy doesn't attack where there is nothing to lose. He attacks the territory where heaven is about to break through. The battle that broke your sleep, the one that made you cry when no one was watching, the one that made you question if I was still near. Yes, that one was the alarm in hell that heaven was advancing in your life. I didn't let you lose your mind. I didn't let you stay down. Because even in your lowest point, my spirit was interceding for you. Even when you stopped praying, I never stopped working. And now, listen closely. That warfare is about to end because that breakthrough is about to begin. Tonight is not just about surviving what you've been through. It's about stepping into what you've been fighting for. The enemy tried to make the battle personal, but it was always spiritual. He didn't just want your peace, he wanted your voice. He didn't just want your time, he wanted your influence. But because you didn't give up, because you kept showing up when it hurt, because you praised me with trembling hands, I am declaring this night a divine shift. You are stepping out of warfare and into fulfillment. The struggle gave you strength. The waiting stretched your faith. And now the reward will silence the voice that told you it was never going to happen. My beloved, I know how tired you are. I know how long it's felt. But I need you to know you weren't just fighting random attacks. You were contending for what I already said is yours. And now that season of pressure has reached its final push. Tonight is the turning point. Don't give up now. Don't collapse on the threshold of completion. You are minutes away from what your months of warfare have been birthing. The enemy's last attempt to wear you out was his way of trying to keep you from walking into the very door I've opened. But what I opened, no man and no demon can shut. Your resistance has made room for my release. And it starts tonight. Asterisk, asterisk, stop looking at your hands and saying you're not enough. I hid something inside you that hell couldn't touch and heaven is about to reveal. Asterisk, asterisk, you've looked at yourself and questioned if you were strong enough to carry what's coming. You've told yourself that you're not ready, not qualified, not stable, not brave. But I am telling you tonight the strength you need has already been placed within you, and it's not of your own making. It is not the strength that comes from pushing harder, working longer, or trying to prove your worth. It is the quiet, relentless strength I embedded in you when I first called your name. The reason the attacks intensified is because the enemy senses what's about to rise. I have hidden a well of spiritual fire within you that you've barely begun to tap into. This is not the kind of strength the world celebrates loud, flashy, dependent on applause. No, this is the strength that wakes up when everything else falls apart. It's the power that stands when emotions collapse, the courage that speaks truth when fear screams louder. This strength doesn't come from your success, it's forged in surrender. You've asked me, Lord, why do I feel so weak? And I'm answering now, because I'm shifting your source. If it came from you, it would fail. If it came from others, it would fail. But what I'm releasing into you tonight comes from my eternal word, and my promises never return void. You will not be lifted by pride, but by purpose. You will not be sustained by ego, but by my spirit. You won't rise by trying harder, you'll rise by trusting deeper. I'm not asking you to pretend to be strong. I'm inviting you to lean into me, so my strength can be made perfect in your weakness. This is the moment I turn your limp into a legacy, your struggle into stability, your brokenness into boldness. That hidden strength was never supposed to show up when life was easy. It was planted for the storm, the fire, the darkness, and now it's about to surface. Watch how, when everything around you says you should give up, something supernatural inside of you rises up instead. That's me. That's my spirit. That's the unshakable power of grace you didn't even know was there. And when it comes forth, you'll stop apologizing for surviving, and you will start walking in the confidence of someone who knows they were chosen. My promise didn't come with an expiration date. And now the time has come where that promise is not just hovering, it's awakening. My strength in you is not a theory, it's a fire. And tonight, it begins to burn through every lie you believe about yourself. You are not too weak. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are rising not because you must, but because I said you would. And what I declare does not return empty. So take a deep breath. Stand up again. The strength you need is not coming, it's been waiting inside you this whole time. Now let it rise. Asterisk, asterisk, this is your moment to break free, not slowly, not eventually, but instantly, as my voice speaks and every hidden chain snaps. Asterisk, asterisk, you've been walking through cycles that looked different on the surface, but felt the same in your soul. The vases chained, the season chained, the locations chained, but the ache remained. You stood in places that should have felt new, yet something familiar pulled you back into the same spiritual fog, the same emotional heaviness, the same self-doubt. And you began to question, is this just who I am now? Is this what I'll always carry? But hear me, my child, those patterns were never permanent. They were spiritual traps designed to keep you bound in cycles that looked like comfort but were chains in disguise. The enemy didn't need to destroy you, he only needed to keep you circling. Circling fear, circling shame, circling regret, circling comparison, circling self-sabotage. But I did not create you to orbit your pain, I created you to overcome it. And now, by my command, those cycles are breaking. This is not behavior modification. This is holy deliverance. I am not calling you to try harder, I am speaking life into the root where the pattern began. Some of those patterns started in childhood. Some were inherited through bloodlines. Others were formed in moments of trauma or heartbreak. But none of them are too deep for me to reach. My spirit is going back to the beginning and cutting every rope that tied you to the past. You will not repeat what your parents carried. You will not echo the same fears that haunted you before. You will not build your future on recycled pain. The grip those cycles had on your identity, your relationships, your decisions, it ends tonight. I don't just want you to be free, I want you to live free. I want you to stop bracing yourself for the next breakdown. I want you to stop expecting every good moment to fall apart. I want you to stop identifying with the hurt you outgrew long ago. The familiar is not always safe. Sometimes it's just familiar because it's been your cage. But I came to set captives free, not solely, not partially, but completely. My voice doesn't need yours to deliver you, it needs your yes. And if you will give it to me tonight, I will shatter what has hovered over your life like a shadow. I will scatter what held you back, confuse what tried to track you, and silence what tried to shame you. The pattern is breaking. The cycle is over. The curse is reversed. The fear is cast out. And you, my child, will step forward not into another loop, but into liberty. Do not hold on to what I am calling you out of. When I break a chain, don't try to wear it as jewelry. Let it fall. Let it be finished. This is your release. This is your reset. And it begins with my word, enough. And now rise, because nothing that once held you will hold you again. Asterisk, asterisk, before you cry over what nearly took you out, look again. I'm turning the very thing that was meant to bury you into the story that will raise others back to life. Asterisk, asterisk, the trap was real. The pain was sharp. The betrayal was devastating. You didn't imagine it, exaggerate it, or cause it. Hell carefully constructed that moment of collapse with one intention: to shame you, silence you, and stop you. It was designed to look like your final chapter, a fall too big, a mistake too visible, a heartbreak too deep. But I was never absent in that pit. I watched as others walked away. I saw the accusations that followed you like shadows, and I heard the mocking voices that said, "This is where it ends." But what they didn't see was that I was writing a sentence they never expected, a resurrection right in the middle of what looked like ruin. What was meant to be a snare is becoming a stage. What was set up to shame you is being transformed into the very story that will set others free. I am the God who turns pits into pulpits, grief into glory, and humiliation into honor. And while the enemy danced around your downfall, I was preparing your rise, not in private, but in a way that will cause even those who doubted you to fall silent in awe. I don't just restore, I redeem. I don't just fix what's broken, I use what was broken to build what will never fall again. The trap was custom-made to target your weakness, but my grace was custom-formed to cover it. You didn't fail because you were weak, you fell into something the enemy planted, but you stood up because I refused to let you die there. And now, I will use every lie, every accusation, every loss as the backdrop for a miracle no one will be able to deny. The testimony I'm building from your trial will silence the voices that once tried to define you by your lowest moment. They will no longer point to your scars, they will be stunned by your survival. And not only survival, transformation. You will speak from places you once wept in. You will lift others from holes you once couldn't escape. This is not about revenge, it's about redemption. I am not giving you back what was lost. I'm giving you something greater, evidence of my glory written on your life. What once humiliated you will now be your message. What once crushed you will now be your calling. You are not who they said you were. You are who I called you before the trap was ever set. The enemy aimed for your identity, but he failed. Because I am flipping it all, the moment, the pain, the slander, the fear, into a testimony that carries the power of heaven. And when it is spoken, it will humble your accusers, not with anger, not with arrogance, but with undeniable glory that even they will have to admit could only be me. So stand tall, my child. The trap didn't win. I did. And now, so will you. Asterisk, don't just ask me to stop the bleeding, ask me to rewrite the part of your story that told you the wound was your fault. Asterisk, asterisk, my beloved, I see where the pain lives, deep beneath the surface, under the smiles, behind the strength, in the quiet places you never let anyone enter. I see the scars you try to ignore, the ones you've learned to live with, not because they stopped hurting, but because you got used to them. But I am telling you tonight is not about temporary relief. It's not about placing a bandage over trauma. This is about redemption. This is not just healing flesh, this is reclaiming identity. The story that told you the wound defined you, that you were the reason it happened, that you were too weak, too broken, too naive, I'm erasing it. I'm going back to the moment it all broke, the chapter where the enemy whispered lies into your open wounds, and I am rewriting the script. Because your story does not end in the betrayal. It does not end in the rejection. It does not end in the failure, in the abuse, in the loss, where the moment you thought everything was over. I have the pen in my hand, and I'm not just healing the wound, I'm replacing the narrative. Lo, the win-win pay will be win-win power. The part of your heart that still flinches when it remembers that is the place I'm touching tonight. And I'm not coming to cover it up. I'm coming to rewrite the meaning it held over your life. That moment that told you you'd never be enough. I'm rewriting it with the truth that says you are chosen. The day that told you you were unworthy of love. I'm rewriting it with a love that will never leave. That night when you were left in silence, wondering if you mattered. I'm rewriting it with the thunder of heaven that says you are mine. I'm not letting you carry this wound into the next season. I'm not letting your future be shaped by a lie that was planted in a moment of vulnerability. I'm pulling out the root, not just the symptom. And when I write a story, I do it so completely, the enemy can't find his handwriting anywhere on the page. You don't have to keep pretending it didn't happen. You don't have to keep hiding the place that still hurts. Bring it to me. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not surprised by it. I am the only one who knows how to use it. Because the wound that once marked your breaking is about to carry the ink of your becoming. And when others read your life, they won't just see the pain, they'll see the proof of a God who stepped into the pages and rewrote everything the enemy tried to destroy. The healing begins tonight, but so does the rewriting. Let me be your author again. Let me write redemption over what was stolen. Because this time, the story won't just heal you, it will heal everyone who hears it. Pause and look around. The shift you've been praying for isn't coming. It's already moving around you. My child, while you were wondering when things would finally come together, I was already setting everything into motion behind the scenes. You thought nothing was changing, but what you didn't see was my hand writing instructions into hearts, whispering into rooms you haven't entered yet, and stirring divine discomfort in people who are about to cross your path. You've been waiting for visible movement, but spiritual alignment often happens in silence. Every delay you resented was a redirection I allowed to get you to the exact place where everything would meet my promise, your preparation, and heaven's plan. The reason I'm doing clothes wasn't because I would probably knew it would be because I was rejoining you. You don't need every open opportunity. You need the one that I've anointed. And I've been preparing it down to the smallest detail. I have spoken to people who don't even know your name yet but are about to be assigned to your destiny. I've rearranged schedules, opened positions, planted thoughts, and rerouted situations so that what looked like disconnection would suddenly come together in undeniable harmony. You'll see how the job you didn't get led you to the person who holds your next key. You'll realize how the heartbreak that made no sense was necessary to clear space for someone sent by me. You'll discover how the place you almost gave up on was the very land I was cultivating under the surface. You'll understand that every no was a not here, and every detour was protection. I'm not just bringing you into alignment, I'm bringing alignment to you. Don't try to force it. Don't try to manufacture connections or rush timing. You don't need to hustle to make this happen. I'm already aligning the people who will see you, value you, walk with you, and build with you. I'm preparing places that will receive your voice and recognize your anointing. I'm clearing pathways that have been blocked by pride, fear, or confusion, and I'm making them straight. And you'll know it's me because it will not feel forced. It will feel favored. When my alignment begins to unfold, it won't look like stress, it will feel like rest. You will no longer have to chase what is sent. It will find you. It will fit you. It will confirm what I've been whispering to your spirit for years. The season of wandering is ending. The season of alignment is beginning. But alignment requires attentiveness. Don't ignore my nudges. Don't second-guess my redirections. I am not the author of confusion, I am the architect of perfect timing. Every person, every place, every path is being readied for the arrival of what I've promised you. You've sown in tears, and now you will reap in divine order. Stay still long enough to witness the pieces falling into place, not randomly, but by my design. This is alignment. This is holy. And this is happening now. Before you step into what's next, Loosen your grip on what was never meant to survive this crossing. Asterisk, my beloved. I know letting go feels like loss, but I need you to understand this clearly. Not everything can go with you into your promised future. You've been holding on to pieces of the past, not because they give you peace, but because they feel familiar. But familiarity isn't the same as safety. You've prayed for change, for purpose, for open doors, but you're still carrying people, habits, memories, and mindsets that are chained to your old season. I am not calling you backward. I am calling you forward. But forward requires a release. This is not rejection, it's realignment. I'm not taking from you to hurt you. I'm removing what will only hinder you. You keep asking me for new things while your hands are still full of what I've already asked you to surrender. I can't pour fresh oil into a vessel full of yesterday's residue. I can't open new doors while you're still looking back at the ones I shut. The relationship I asked you to walk away from, the opportunity that felt good but wasn't God, the habits that comforted you but quietly drained your strength. I am asking one more time. Let it go. Not because I want you to live empty, but because I want you to live whole. You've come too far to sabotage what's ahead by clinging to what I've already told you is done. Some of what you're carrying is heavy because it's expired. Some of what you're defending is delaying you. Some of what you're praying for revival in is only surviving because of your fear to let go. But I need your faith to be stronger than your memory. I need your obedience to be louder than your fear of loneliness. I need you to trust that I never remove without replacing, never subtract without purpose, and never prune without preparing for fruit. I am not being cruel. I am being careful with your calling. You asked me to lead you into destiny, and I am, but destiny demands detachment from what no longer serves your future. The pain you feel in releasing it will not last. The freedom you'll find on the other side will. I'm not just calling you to drop it, I'm offering to take it from your hands so you can finally walk without dragging the past behind you. It cannot follow you into where I'm taking you. It doesn't fit the next level of your purpose. It doesn't align with the clarity I'm about to give. It doesn't speak the language of what I'm building through you. So tonight, make the exchange. Your fear for my peace. Your control for my covering. Your memories for my mission. And when you release what I've asked you to let go, you'll find that what's waiting ahead isn't just different, it's divine. You've delayed long enough. Let go and follow me. Stop letting your past speak louder than your purpose. I'm not consulting your history to confirm your destiny. Asterisk, my child. I know every part of your journey, the detours, the breakdowns, the regrets, the moments you're proud of and the ones you never talk about. I was there for all of it, not as a passive observer, but as a loving father who never took his eyes off you, even when you took your eyes off me. And tonight, I am reaching into that tangled story not to remind you of what went wrong, but to reignite what I put in you before any of it ever began. The call on your life was not canceled by your failures. It was not revoked by your detours. It was not erased by your delay. I don't change my mind about what I've spoken over you. You've let shame quiet you, fear distract you, and comparison convince you that maybe I moved on to someone else more worthy. But I didn't move on, I'm moving back in. And tonight, I'm reactivating the very thing that has been lying dormant beneath your disappointments. You've been walking through life with a sense of unrest because your calling has been trying to breathe under the weight of your excuses. But I'm removing the weight now. The distractions, the insecurities, the lies that said, it's too late, or you've gone too far. They are being silenced by my voice, and my voice carries resurrection power. What I placed inside you wasn't meant to be buried by the noise of life or the wounds of your past. It was meant to awaken the world. And now I'm awakening you. This isn't emotional hype, it's divine activation. The gift I gave you is still intact. The oil I poured over you still drips with destiny. The vision I whispered still stands. The world tried to label you. The enemy tried to break you. But I have always called you mine, and I call you anointed. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to respond. I'm not looking for the strongest. I'm looking for the surrendered. And if you'll say yes again tonight, not with perfection, but with willingness, I will stir your spirit with a fire you thought had burned out. I will remind you of what you forgot you could do. I will open doors you didn't even knock on. I will reconnect the dots of every season that seemed wasted. I will take the pain and turn it into power. You will speak with authority, lead with humility, and move with divine confidence, not because of your resume, but because of your response. This call doesn't need credentials, it needs surrender. The gifts are reactivating. The vision is awakening. The mantle is falling on your shoulders again. You may have laid it down out of exhaustion, but I'm handing it back out of mercy. And this time, you will carry it with grace. This time, you will know it's not by your might, but by my spirit. This is your moment not to relive the past, but to rise into the calling that's been waiting on the other side of your yes. So say it. Say yes. The world needs what I placed in you. And now tonight we begin again. Pay attention, my child. What's been hidden behind your delays, confusion, and sudden heaviness is not natural, it's spiritual, and I'm confronting it now. Asterisk, there are forces that have moved in silence, hoping you'd never discern them, people who smiled in your face but silently hoped for your fall, voices that influenced your thoughts while pretending to be wisdom, habits you didn't realize were slowly suffocating your fire, and unseen battles that wrapped themselves in anxiety, doubt, or distraction. These were not coincidences. They were strategic assignments from the enemy, not to destroy you all at once, but to drain you just enough that you'd give up quietly. But I see everything, even what you can't see yet. And I love you too much to let these unseen chains keep operating beneath the surface. So tonight, I'm shining my light into every dark corner, every hidden motive, every spiritual snare, and I am exposing it not to shame you, but to set you free. You've been praying for breakthrough without realizing there's been interference. You've asked me to open doors, but I couldn't until I dealt with what was keeping you bound behind the scenes. This exposure is not punishment, it's protection. What's been influencing your decisions, delaying your steps, or draining your confidence, I'm stripping it of its power. I will uncover false connections that looked like divine appointments but were actually distractions in disguise. I will reveal the lies wrapped in familiar voices. I will bring clarity to confusion that made you second-guess your calling. And when I expose it, you will not need to fight in your own strength. I will fight for you. I will cause truth to rise like the morning sun, and the things that worked against you in darkness will be revealed in full light. You don't need to be afraid of what I uncover, because I never reveal to wound, I reveal to heal. Some of what I expose will be external, and some will be internal thought patterns, compromises, attitudes you've tolerated too long, but each one is coming to the surface so you can walk freely and fully in what I've prepared for you. I will allow your future to be entangled by things that were never meant to be part of your story. So do not be shocked if certain things are removed suddenly, if certain people fall silent, if certain opportunity dissolve. It's not rejection, it's realignment. It's not falling apart, it's me cleaning house. Because the place I'm bringing you into is too sacred for snakes to slither into. The level I'm elevating you to requires purity of vision and soundness of spirit. And I'm not just calling you into blessing, I'm preparing you to sustain it. So tonight, don't resist the exposure. Embrace it. Let me show you what's been operating in the shadows so I can remove it completely. And when the light comes, freedom will follow. What once confused you will make sense. What once held you back will be powerless. And what once whispered lies in the dark will no longer have access to your soul. Because when I expose it, I expel it. And once I expel it, you walk free. Stop writing your story like it's over. Tonight is the divine page turn that redefines everything that came before it. Asterisk, my child, I know how final some moments have felt. That heartbreak felt like the closing sentence. That failure seemed like the last line. That silence from heaven felt like the book was finished and left unresolved. But I'm telling you now, as the author of your life, I am not done writing. In fact, the very pain you thought concluded your purpose is the punctuation I'm using to begin a new, unstoppable move in your story. I don't discard books because of dark chapters, I redeem them with resurrection endings. And this moment you're in right now, where everything seems uncertain and you feel like you're stuck in the middle of something unresolved, is the exact place where I'm picking up the pen again, not to continue what was, but to begin what has never been seen before. You've measured your worth by what's behind you, by what didn't work out, by who left, by how many setbacks you've endured, but I never called you based on your history. I called you based on your destiny. And that calling cannot be canceled just because the last chapter broke your heart. I specialize in divine rewrites, and tonight, the ink of heaven is flowing fresh over your life. The old chapter didn't disqualify you, it prepared you. The broken pieces you tried to hide are now becoming the foundation of a story that will minister to others in ways you've never imagined. You see, when I shift a life, I don't always announce it with fireworks. I do it through turning pages quietly, completely, and eternally. This is one of those turns. The scenery is changing. The tone is shifting. What was once covered in shadows is now rising into the light. You are not stuck. You are not being punished. You are not finished. You are transitioning. And transitions often feel like endings when you don't realize you're in the hands of the author. But I don't leave stories unfinished. I don't leave promises halfway fulfilled. I don't abandon books I started with love. You are not a story of wasted time. You are a testimony in progress. What I'm about to write will explain the mystery of everything that led to this night. The tears, the questions, the delays, the detours. They were all leading to this page. And what begins now will carry such weight, such clarity, such power, that those who thought your story was over will watch in awe as I continue writing publicly. No more hiding. No more doubting. No more waiting in the background of your own destiny. This is the beginning of the breakthrough chapter, the one that shifts your entire legacy. And I am not handing the pen to anyone else. I am writing this with my own hand, full of grace, truth, mercy, and miracles. So lift your head. Breathe again. Because the page is turning tonight, and what comes next will make sense of everything that came before. Don't underestimate the weight of your endurance. The enemy saw what was coming and launched his fiercest attacks, not because you were failing, but because you were closer than you've ever been. Asterisk, my child, the battle you've just walked through was never random. The pressure that built around your mind, your emotions, your body, it was a calculated attempt to wear you down, to convince you that surrendering would be easier than standing. The enemy doesn't waste his resources on those who are going nowhere. He targeted you because he saw the shift in the spirit before you did. He saw angels moving into position. He heard the whisper of fulfillment surrounding your name. He watched as the seeds of your obedience began to break open in the soil of your past suffering. So he sent out like a wave. He released distractions like storms. He fed your fears. He stirred your insecurities. He twisted your thoughts until you questioned your own identity. But you stayed. You didn't run. You didn't curse the promise. You didn't destroy what I planted just because you couldn't yet see fruit. And for that, thank you. Thank you for trusting me when your faith felt bruised. Thank you for showing up in prayer when it felt like no one was listening. Thank you for carrying the burden of almost while holding on to the thread of not yet. You didn't realize it, but every time you said yes when you could have quit, you silenced the darkness. You broke the chain. You shattered the pattern. The enemy didn't expect your persistence. He hoped the delay would discourage you. He hoped the silence would define you. He hoped the pressure would push you to lay it all down and walk away. But what he failed to realize is that your spirit hath been sealed with something unshakable, my promise. And that promise is not fragile. It doesn't expire under pressure. It doesn't vanish when the wind blows. It stands. It fights. It lives. And now, because you endured, because you stayed, because you kept choosing me even in your uncertainty, the miracle is in motion. The shift you couldn't see is now surfacing. The breakthrough that once seemed far is now standing at your doorstep. The healing is accelerating. The pavilion is approaching. The relationships are being restored. The opportunities are aligning. You're not waiting anymore, you're stepping in. This moment you're entering wasn't delayed by chance, it was timed by heaven. And had you given up, you would have forfeited the very blessing that was already on its way. But now, because you stood through the trial, you will walk in the testimony. And it won't just be yours, it will pour into others who are watching, wondering if they too should give up. Your endurance is their encouragement. Your staying power is proof of my sustaining grace. I've seen every tear. I've counted every silent night. And now I say to you, with all of heaven bearing witness, well done. Not because the race is over, but because you didn't leave when you were weary. And for that, the miracle will not just arrive, it will overflow. Don't confuse my silence with inactivity. What looked like delay was the stage being built, and now I'm about to pull back the curtain. You thought nothing was moving, that maybe you missed a step or misunderstood my promise, but what you couldn't see was how much was being aligned beneath the surface. I was never stalling, I was staging. I was preparing not just a moment, but a manifestation so clear, so undeniable, that when it arrives, it will silence every voice that doubted, including your own. You felt stuck, but I was solidifying your foundation. You felt hidden, but I was protecting what I planted in you until the time was right. Heaven's strategy has never been to rush. I build slowly when I'm doing something eternal. I didn't delay your breakthrough to punish you. I allowed time to shape you so when it arrives, you'll be able to carry it without it crushing you. What seemed like unanswered prayers were actually answers maturing in silence. And now, the delay is shifting into divine display. You're about to witness the suddenly you've been waiting years for. What they didn't see in you, what they ignored, what even you began to doubt, I'm about to put on display. Not to exalt your name, but to glorify mine through you. This unveiling won't be rooted in pride, but in purpose. I'm lifting the covering off the gifts you thought were buried. I'm calling your name into rooms you didn't know were being prepared. I'm resurrecting dreams that were on pause. I'm pushing forth blessings that were being held until your heart could receive them in wholeness. And I will do it in such a way that no man can claim the credit. You won't need to promote yourself, I've already spoken for you. What you thought was stuck is about to move with force. What you believed was closed off is about to open without effort. What was locked is about to swing wide, not just as access, but as proof that I never forgot my word over you. The delay was a setup, not a setback. I wanted you strong, not stressed. Ready, not rushed. Anchored, not anxious. And now that you've been refined in the fire of waiting, I can trust you with what others would have misused. I'm not just revealing the promise, I'm revealing who you became while you waited. That's the true miracle. You didn't just survive delay, you became deeper, stronger, more aligned with my heart. So watch it. Watch how what once felt stuck suddenly moves. Watch how the unseen becomes visible. Watch how what was delayed becomes displayed, not to impress people but to impact lives. I'm about to make your hidden season the most public testimony of my faithfulness. And when they ask how it happened, you won't point to effort, strategy, or striving, you'll point to me. Because I'm the one who turned delay into destiny. And the display begins now. Stop glancing over your shoulder, you can't step into what's holy while still holding hands with what's history. Asterisk, asterisk, my child. I know your heart still lingers in places I've already called you out from. I know how tempting it is to reanalyze what went wrong, to replay who hurt you, what you lost, and how much time you feel has slipped through your fingers. But tonight, I'm asking you to stop turning around. I am doing something so new, so expansive, so unexpected in your life that if you keep looking back, you'll miss the very thing you prayed for. I'm not recycling your past, I'm replacing it with purpose. You've outgrown the skin of your old season. The thoughts that used to keep you safe are now suffocating you. The patterns that once helped you survive are now blocking your expansion. I'm not asking you to forget what happened, I'm asking you to stop dragging it into your present as if it still has authority over your future. Your memory is not your master. That moment that tried to define you, break you, or convince you that nothing better was coming. It does not hold power anymore unless you keep feeding it. You can't carry the weight of yesterday and the glory of tomorrow at the same time. Something has to be released. Tonight, I am doing something unprecedented, but I cannot fit it inside the container of your old expectations. You've been measuring what's next by what's been. But this move is not comparable, it's miraculous. You think you know what restoration looks like, but I'm not restoring you to what was, I'm restoring you to what should have been before pain tried to rewrite your story. I'm building a new thing, not on the ruins of your mistakes, but on the rock of your surrender. But if you keep looking back, you'll be like Lot's wife, paralyzed by what you were supposed to walk away from. You can't be loyal to your healing and your history at the same time. Choose freedom. Choose vision. Choose to believe that I am capable of creating beauty that isn't tied to brokenness. Choose to stop explaining your growth to those who only know your past. You're not obligated to shrink to fit their memory of you. What I'm doing tonight doesn't fit within yesterday's boundaries, and it doesn't need their validation to be real. This is a divine exodus, not just from circumstances but from cycles. And the only way forward is forward. I am stretching you. I am shifting you. I am expanding your territory, your thinking, your vision, but I cannot do that if your eyes are still fixed on what was. The door behind you is closed. Stop knocking. Stop revisiting conversations that already ended. Stop rereading chapters I already turned. Let the past breathe in peace, and let your future catch fire. I am not there, I am here. And what I'm releasing tonight requires your full attention, your full trust, your full surrender. Look ahead, beloved. I'm already waiting in your next. Don't misread my covering as restriction. I didn't shield you to hold you back. I shielded you to build you up. Asterisk, my beloved. There were moments you didn't understand why I closed certain doors, why I removed certain people, why I delayed certain answers. You thought I was withholding. You thought I was silent. You even wondered if I was ignoring you, but I was not. I was protecting you. I was standing between you and what you thought you wanted, because what you were asking for was too small for the magnitude of your calling. You saw safety as the absence of storms, but I see protection as preparation. I didn't just keep you from the enemy's attack, I used the seasons of stillness to shape your spirit so that when the glory comes, it doesn't crush you. You've been covered not just from harm, but from exposure before your roots were ready. The silence wasn't punishment, it was strategy. The hiddenness wasn't rejection, it was incubation. I was hiding you in plain sight, not because I didn't have plans for you, but because my plans required depth before display. You kept asking me to move, but I was moving in you. You kept asking me to bring promotion, but I was strengthening your foundation so the weight of your future wouldn't break you. Because what I'm bringing isn't surface level, it's saturated in my presence, heavy with purpose, radiant with my glory. And glory requires a vessel that has been emptied of ego and filled with endurance. That's why I didn't answer every prayer the way you wanted. That's why I didn't allow you to build your identity on applause or affirmation. I was preparing you for something higher than attention. I was preparing you for eternal impact. And now, the season of protection is giving way to the season of release. But do not mistake this shift as simply a breakthrough. This is a birthing. You're not stepping into something small. You're stepping into the very thing you were formed for. What's coming has been anointed with my oil and timed by my wisdom. But I needed you to survive the cocoon before you could fly with wings you didn't know I was forming. I protected you from things you would have settled for: relationships, roles, paths, platforms that looked good but were never from me. I protected you from becoming visible before you were stable. And now, because you let me keep you hidden, I can trust you with my glory. Not the kind that lifts your name high, but the kind that heals others when you walk into the room. The kind that draws the broken home, that stirs purpose in dry bones, that shifts atmospheres without shouting. I'm not preparing you for a stage, I'm preparing you to carry the weight of heaven on earth. And the ones who carry glory must walk differently. They must pray when no one is watching. They must stay humble when honor comes. They must remember that everything good flows from me, not from striving. You are being set apart not for show, but for impact. And when the time comes, and it's coming soon, you'll realize it was all worth it. Every no, every delay, every closed door. Because I wasn't protecting you from your future, I was protecting your future through you. And now, I'm about to reveal what I've been preparing all along. Don't dismiss your weeping as weakness. Those tears have built an unseen altar, and now heaven is responding with power. Asterisk, asterisk, my precious child. I have watched every tear that fell from your eyes when no one else was there to see, when no words could explain what you felt, when all you could do was groan under the weight of emotions too heavy to carry. You thought they evaporated into the darkness, lost and forgotten. But I tell you now, not a single tear was wasted. I caught them all. I counted them. I remembered them. And I've woven them into the very soil where your miracle is now beginning to grow. You may not have seen the shift yet, but beneath the surface, the seeds of breakthrough have been bursting to life. What you thought was a season of delay was actually a season of watering. Every tear you shed in faith, in heartbreak, in worship, in surrender, it saturated the ground that once seemed barren. And now, by my word, it's producing fruit. I know you wept over things that didn't make sense. You cried over unanswered prayers, unexpected endings, and unbearable pain. But even in those moments, your spirit chose me. You lifted your hands when your heart felt crushed. You praised when it would have been easier to walk away. And I never overlooked that. Those tears became offerings. Those cries became prayers. Those breakdowns became breakthroughs in motion. A miracle didn't start with your strength, it started with your surrender. And that's why what's about to emerge in your life will not only surprise you, it will astonish those who thought your pain would silence you. I've been nurturing something sacred beneath the dry places. Even when it felt like nothing was happening, I was causing roots to grow deeper. You were becoming unshakable, even in your grief. And now I am commanding life to come forth. A miracle won't just comfort you, it will multiply through you. It will bless others. It will redeem your story. It will confirm my goodness. Don't rush past your tears, honor them. They are the proof that you didn't harden your heart when life tried to make you bitter. You stayed tender. You stayed open. You stayed honest. And for that, I'm bringing a harvest that will overflow. It will look like compensation, it will look like divine restoration. The kind that only I can orchestrate. The kind that brings beauty out of ashes and joy out of mourning. You thought the tears were a sign of weakness, but they were evidence of trust. The soil that was wet with sorrow is about to bloom with something so beautiful it will make you fall to your knees again, but this time, in awe. So do not resent the weeping. Remember it. Because tonight, I say with all the authority of heaven, what your tears watered, my hand will now raise. Get ready, beloved. Your miracle is not delayed, it is sprouting. You don't need another signal in the sky, you need to hear my voice and move when I speak, because this night carries divine instruction that will unlock what signs alone never could. Asterisk, asterisk, my beloved. I've seen you ask with a sincere heart, Lord, give me a sign, and I know that deep down, you weren't looking for a show, you were looking for certainty. You were desperate to know if the direction you sensed was truly from me. You've asked for confirmation, for a word, for a moment that would make it clear. But signs were never meant to be your compass, my spirit is. Tonight, I'm going beyond surface level signals and inviting you into something far deeper, divine instruction. I am not just trying to catch your attention, I'm trying to guide your next step. Because the truth is, signs can confirm what's happening, but instructions will transform how it happens. Signs may point, but instructions activate. You've seen enough to believe I'm now calling you to move. I'm not sending a flicker of light from afar, I'm drawing near with detailed direction. But you must be willing to sit in silence long enough to receive it. I'm not shouting, I'm speaking with precision. I'm not trying to impress, I'm trying to empower. I have words that will shift your next decision, timing that will make or break the next door, strategies that the enemy has no access to, but I won't force them into ears that are only listening for flashing lights. Don't settle for just signs when I am offering you sacred blueprints. I'm downloading assignments that will require your full trust, not just passive waiting. You've asked me, should I go left or right? And I'm not just answering that, I'm revealing the why, the how, the when, and the with who. Because where I'm taking you now requires more than curiosity, it demands obedience. And obedience flows from instruction, not instinct. This is not about chasing wonders, it's about carrying out my will with clarity. I don't want you wandering in a field of feelings, I want you walking in a path lit by my word. I will not let you be confused in this season if you choose to stay close. I am speaking in patterns, in whispers, in the pages of Scripture, in the stirrings of your spirit, in the counsel of the wise. But you must tune your heart like an instrument because my instruction is specific. I am not giving general advice, I am releasing custom-fit strategy for your next assignment. Some instructions will feel strange. Others will contradict what you thought made sense. But they will bear fruit that logic never could. That's why you can't afford to miss what I'm saying tonight. It's not a suggestion, it's a shift. You prayed for a sign, but what you really need is direction. And I'm giving it now, not through thunder or spectacle, but through stillness and surrender. Come away with me. At your novuk. Shut out the noise. Let me download the divine. Because what I'm instructing you to do tonight will not only confirm your calling, it will prepare you to carry it. No more delays. No more distractions. Hear me now and obey. For what follows your obedience will not be just answers, it will be access. Stop exhausting yourself trying to force what I've already decided. You're about to step into a season where stillness becomes your greatest weapon, not your weakness. Asterisk, my child. I know the weariness you carry, the endless pushing, the overthinking, the pressure to make it all happen, to hold it all together, to prove you're making progress. I've watched you labor not just with your hands but with your heart, trying to fix, change, earn, or hurry what only I can release. You mistaken movement for momentum. But I did not call you to strive your way into destiny, I called you to walk in it through surrender. You prayed, Lord, why does this feel so hard? And tonight I answer, because you've been trying to do with pressure what can only happen through presence. What once responded to your hustle will now only respond to your rest. Not laziness, not passivity, but divine stillness, the posture of trust that says, I don't have to control this. God's already in it. I'm shifting your rhythm to confident. You've reached the threshold where striving can no longer serve you. It once helped you survive, but now it's sabotaging your sensitivity to me. I've been calling you into rest, not as a pause, but as a strategy. Because in rest, you hear me more clearly. In stillness, you're guided instead of guessing. In peace, you access my power instead of operating on fumes. I never intended for you to burn out on the path to your promise. I intended for you to be led by my spirit, not pushed by pressure. And tonight, I am breaking the yoke of overperformance off your shoulders. You don't have to hustle to keep what I've already handed you in grace. You don't have to prove your worth through productivity. You don't have to strive to stay seen. I see you. I've seen every hidden effort, every private burden, every quiet sacrifice. And now I'm teaching you to work from rest, not for rest. That means moving only when I say move, speaking only when I give you words, and releasing every outcome to me. This is not the end of your assignment, it's the start of a new, anointed rhythm. One where your spirit is no longer drained by your schedule, but filled by my presence. Where you learn that sometimes the most powerful move is to stand still and let me part the waters. I will open what you couldn't force. I will deliver what you couldn't chase. I will shift hearts, change atmospheres, and align resources not by your stress but by my sovereignty. But to see this, you must trust that I am just as active when you're still as I am when you're working. This is how battles are won now, not with noise, but with knowing. Knowing who you are, knowing who I am, and knowing that my voice, not your effort, will carry you into victory. So tonight, exhale, release, and rest. Because what once demanded all your energy will now respond to your stillness in me. Before you step forward, you need to see with spiritual eyes, not emotional ones, because not everyone near you is meant to go with you. Asterisk, my child. I know how much you've wanted to believe the best in people. I know how many chances you've given, how many explanations you've created in your mind to excuse the red flags in behavior, the quiet dishonor in conversations, the patterns that drained your spirit while wearing the mask of friendship, loyalty, or even leadership. But tonight I speak with love and urgency. Not everyone who claps for you is committed to you, and not everyone who stays close is sent by me. You've entered a critical place of transition, and the clarity I'm about to give you will expose what your heart didn't want to see. I'm not doing this to make you paranoid or bitter. I'm doing this to protect your anointing. Because what I'm releasing in this next season is weighty, holy, and it cannot be placed in the presence of counterfeit alignment. There are people who say my name but carry no fruit. People who act supportive until your light exposes their shadows. People who are comfortable with you as long as you stay small, quiet, and dependent. But I am raising you up, and elevation always reveals intention. You won't have to confront them in the flesh. I will cause their true motives to surface through their own choices, their own words, their own absence when you need them most. And you will know, not with suspicion, but with discernment. Not through drama, but through peace. I will speak to your spirit and say, this one is from me, and this one is not. And I need you to trust me when I do. Even if it hurts. Even if it surprises you. Even if it requires distance where you once shared closeness. The next room I'm taking you into requires divine alignment, not emotional attachments based on history, but holy connections based on assignment. Some of the people you've leaned on were only temporary. They were a chapter, not a covenant. And I'm not asking you to hate them, I'm asking you to release them. Let me clean your circle. Let me purify your counsel. Let me elevate your discernment so that flattery no longer deceives you, titles no longer impress you, and shared wounds no longer create false intimacy. You are my vessel, and I cannot afford for your heart to be entangled with people who admire you but do not honor me. I am drawing people who don't just love your gift, but who protect your soul. People who sharpen you, not drain you. People who cover you, not compete with you. And when I do, it will be clear they will carry the sound of heaven. You won't have to force it, question it, or chase it. Their presence will bring peace, and their fruit will match their words. But you must first let me separate what's real from what only looked right. You tolerated too much for too long. And tonight, the gift of discernment is falling on you, not to isolate you, but to insulate you from what could have derailed your destiny. Watch closely. Listen carefully. Move when I speak. Because what I reveal next isn't to harm, it's to heal. Stop letting fear be your advisor. What you choose next will either open doors I've ordained or reroute you into delays I never intended. Asterisk, my beloved. This is a critical threshold in your journey. You cried for clarity. You've prayed for me to guide your steps. And tonight, I am making it clear. Your next decisions must be rooted in my presence, not in pressure. No more rushing into relationships because loneliness shouted louder than discernment. No more accepting offers just because you're afraid nothing better will come. No more saying yes to things I never assigned, simply because waiting feels uncomfortable. I see the war within you, the voice of anxiety telling you, hurry up before you're left behind, while my spirit gently says, be still and know. You cannot afford to let fear fuel your future. You cannot allow panic to take the pen from my hand and start writing its own version of your story. When you act out of anxiety, you end up creating attachments, obligations, and consequences that wear you down. But when you act from alignment, you walk in flow, not friction. I am calling you to a place of peace, not just peace around you, but peace within you. That peace will be the compass. If it doesn't feel aligned with the stillness of my spirit, if it stirs more chaos than clarity, that is not your path. And I don't want you just making decisions that look good. I want you making decisions that are good, because they come from me. Alignment is not always easy, but it's always fruitful. It won't always make sense to others, but it will make sense in your spirit. Tonight, I'm inviting you to slow down, listen deep, and decide from your identity, not your insecurity. You are not desperate, you are destined. You are not abandoned, you are anchored in me. I know the weight of the options in front of you. I know how loud the pressure can be. But I am not asking you to navigate it alone. I'm right here, speaking, leading, guiding not with riddles but with wisdom. You don't have to overthink. You don't have to beg for signs. If you stay close to me, you'll know. You'll know when to walk into and when to walk away from. You'll know when to wait and when to move. My peace will govern your decisions like a river flowing without resistance. But if you ignore my voice and react out of emotion, you may find yourself exhausted, wondering how you ended up outside of my timing. This is not a threat, it's a warning from love. Because I've prepared something for you that's worth protecting. And the only way to get there is through choices birthed in alignment. So pause. Breathe. Invite me, and not just to bless your decision, but to make it with you. Because when we decide together, the outcome is always good. This is your moment to shift from panic to purpose, from pressure to presence. Choose wisely. I am with you. Brace yourself. This is not just a moment of subtle growth. This is a divine tremor that will shake the very ground beneath your spiritual feet. Asterisk, my child. I need you to realize the magnitude of what I am doing right now. You've asked me to change your life, to transform your circumstances, to make things new, and now, I'm answering in a way that will not only shift your personal direction, but will cause ripple effects that touch everything and everyone around you. This is not a tweak. This is not a soft adjustment. This is a spiritual quake, an eruption in the atmosphere, and when I shake things, I do it with purpose. I'm disrupting patterns, cracking open spiritual strongholds, and shaking loose the weights that have kept you bound for too long. The ground you've stood on, the familiar pain, the predictable cycles, the quiet compromise, it's breaking. Not to destroy you, but to uproot what has no business surviving in the next season of your life. I am not here to rearrange your comfort, I'm here to rebuild your calling. You've prayed for revival, but true revival always begins with shaking. It unsettles what's false, it exposes what's buried, it reveals what's been secretly holding you back. And tonight, the shaking begins not with chaos, but with clarity. You'll feel it in your spirit, a holy unrest, a realization that what used to satisfy you no longer fits. The people, the habits, the places that once felt right will begin to feel foreign. Don't resist the shift, respond to it. Because I'm not just shaking the surface, I'm awakening your soul. The lies that once settled in your mind are being broken. The heaviness that once sat in your chest is lifting. The doors that once stood stubbornly shut are beginning to rattle open. I am moving. Heaven is moving. And when I move, nothing stays the same. I'm shaking everything that was built on insecurity, fear, or false identity so that only what's eternal will remain. This earthquake will not take you down, it will raise you up. But it will also cost you the comfort of being passive. It will demand your attention. It will shift your priorities. It will draw you into deeper worry, deeper trust, deeper surrender. I'm not asking you to survive this moment, I'm calling you to ride it like a wave of glory. And on the other side of this shift will be authority, clarity, and supernatural alignment. Yes, some people will fall away. Yes, some things will collapse. But what remains after I shake is what I always intended to build with. And I will rebuild with fire, with truth, with holiness, and with you. So don't panic when everything starts to feel different. Don't try to fix what I'm intentionally removing. Don't cling to what I'm shaking loose. Instead, stand in the tremble. Worship in the movement. Trust that this earthquake is not your ending, it's your emergence. Because this is not a small change. This is your spiritual shift. And it starts tonight. Stop disqualifying yourself, you're waiting to feel prepared. but I've already prepared you in ways you didn't even recognize. Asterisk, my child. I see you holding back, hesitating at the edge of the calling I've placed before you. You keep questioning your readiness, replaying your mistakes, examining your weaknesses, comparing your voice, your strength, your experience to others, and believing the lie that you must wait until you feel strong to step forward. But what you must understand tonight is this: I do not call the ready, I ready the called. You have mistaken comfort for preparation. But true preparation often looks like wilderness, looks like silence, looks like closed doors and long nights where you clung to me not because you felt holy, but because you had nowhere else to go. That was preparation. When you chose me in heartbreak, you were being equipped. When you forgave without apology, you were being refined. When you obeyed me in the dark, even when the reward wasn't visible, I was sharpening your spirit to withstand what was ahead. And now here you are, standing at the brink of your assignment, thinking you need more, thinking you're missing something, but I tell you with love and fire, you already have what you need. The boldness you think you lack is buried under the obedience you've already shown. The wisdom you seek has been forming through every moment of brokenness you brought before me in prayer. The strength you're waiting to feel is already rising not from your willpower, but from my spirit alive in you. You are more equipped than you feel because I don't build based on your emotions, I build based on my truth. Your hesitation isn't humility, it's fear in disguise. And fear has no place in what I'm about to launch through your life. You've been praying, Lord, send someone else, but I'm answering, no, I sent you. I didn't choose you because you're perfect, I chose you because you're willing. And willingness opens the door for divine empowerment. So step into the room. Write the vision. Open your mouth. Walk through the door. The anointing won't come before you move, it will meet you as you move. The water didn't part for the priests until they stepped in. And likewise, your miracle will unfold not while you're waiting, but while you're walking. Trust that my equipping is often invisible until it's tested. What you feel unqualified for, I've been quietly qualifying you for in private. And tonight, I'm tearing down the belief that you're not enough. You are chosen. You are marked. You are ready. Not because of who you are alone, but because I, the great I Am, walk with you. Let go of the idea that readiness is a feeling. It's a fact when you've been anointed by heaven. And you, my beloved, have been anointed. Now rise, not later, not someday, now. What you're stepping into will stretch you, but it will not destroy you. You have been equipped, empowered, and prepared for such a time as this. Before you believe one more lie, let me interrupt the noise with truth. You haven't missed anything that I ordained for your life. Asterisk, the whispers of regret, the accusations in your mind, the doubts that creep in when the room gets quiet, all of them are liars. The enemy has been working overtime to convince you that you are behind, that you messed up too badly, that your window of opportunity has closed, that others have taken your place, and that I've moved on without you. But I haven't. I never moved on from you. I've been moving with you, even when you couldn't see it. And tonight, I am silencing those voices that have caused you to shrink back, sit down, and question whether you're still part of my plan. Let me be clear, you are. Your mistakes didn't cancel your calling. Your delay didn't dismantle your destiny. The detours didn't disqualify you. I factor in your humanity. I knew what choices you would make before you made them, and I wove my mercy into every single moment. That voice that tells you you're too late, silence it. That thought that says you're too broken, silence it. That fear that whispers, it's over for you, silence it. Because I am not finished with you. I am not even disappointed in you. I am proud that you're still listening, still searching, still open to me. That's all I need. And that is proof that you haven't missed what's yours. My timing is not fragile. My promises are not held hostage by your mistakes. When I declare something over your life, no person, no circumstance, no delay, no demon in hell can erase it. You may have gotten off course, but I recalculated the path. You may have sat down for a while, but I've kept your place at the table. And tonight, I'm turning off the volume on every voice that is not mine. I'm restoring your confidence, not the shallow kind built on appearance or affirmation, but the kind rooted in identity. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And you are on time. I make all things new, including you. So breathe. Stand up. Shake off the shame. Let me speak louder than your inner critic. I never stopped calling your name. And now that you've stopped long enough to hear me again, listen. You haven't missed it. You are walking into it. And what's coming next will make you forget why you ever doubted in the first place. Before you let the world rename you again, hear me clearly tonight. I'm reminding you of your true identity, because too many voices have tried to rewrite what I already declared. Asterisk, my beloved. You've allowed too many opinions, too many failures, and too many labels to speak louder than my truth. Somewhere along the way, the weight of rejection started to sound like your inner voice. The lies became familiar, and you began to wear names I never gave you: unworthy, forgotten, not enough, too broken, too late. But tonight, I come not with accusation, but with a holy reminder. You are mine. You were bought with a price. Formed by my hands. Called by my spirit. Sealed with my promise. There is nothing accidental about you. You are not the sum of your mistakes, nor are you defined by what others failed to see in you. Heaven's fingerprint is all over your life, evidence of divine intention and eternal value. When I formed you in the secret place, I marked you with purpose. I didn't wait to see how you'd perform. I loved you before your first breath. And my love hasn't shifted because of your detours. I'm not intimidated by your insecurities or confused by your questions. I know exactly who you are even when you forget. And tonight, I am reminding you, not so you can feel proud in yourself, but so you can rise in confidence in me. You are not a mistake. You are not invisible. You are not replaceable. You are my child, my creation, my voice in the earth. I've placed dreams inside you not to torment you, but to awaken you. I've deposited gifts that may have gone unused for a while, but they are still there, alive, ready, waiting to be activated again. You keep looking outward for validation, when the confirmation was placed inside you before time began. My spirit testifies to your identity. And identity is not rooted in achievement, it's rooted in relationship. You belong to me, and that is enough. That has always been enough. You've let critics reduce you. You've let comparison distract you. You've let shame silence you. But now I am speaking louder, and what I say stands above every lie. You are not what they called you. You are not what they did to you. You are not what fear says when you're tired. You are who I say you are: a vessel of glory, a carrier of truth, a child of the King. And if you truly believed that, the fear would lose its grip, the doubt would dry up, and the fire would return to your eyes. So tonight, I am reigniting that fire. I'm resurrecting the parts of you that bury their voice. You don't have to live in confusion anymore. You don't have to wonder if you matter. You don't have to keep rehearsing your pain to explain your worth. I have called you. I have chosen you. And my hand is still on you. So walk in that truth, not tomorrow, tonight. Let this be the night you stop settling, stop hiding, and stop forgetting. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. Because your identity isn't fragile, it's forged in heaven. Before you bury another promise in doubt, hear me. What I whispered into your spirit years ago was not forgotten, delayed, or dismissed. It was stored for this very night. Asterisk, my child. I know how many times you've replayed the words I gave you, those dreams, those confirmations, those moments where my presence was so thick you could feel your destiny burning within you. And I know how much silence you've endured since then. How many nights you've asked, did I imagine it? Did I miss it? Was that really you, Lord? You've wrestled with delay. You've second-guessed your sensitivity. You've questioned whether you somehow disqualified yourself. But tonight I come to break the lie that time erased my promise. It didn't. My words are not bound by clocks or calendars. What I spoke over you still stands, still breathes, still waits. I wasn't ignoring you, I was preparing the conditions for my word to break forth in the fullness of time. You see delay, but I see development. You saw stagnation, but I was orchestrating alignment. The promise couldn't manifest until the weight of your character could carry its glory. I wasn't waiting for circumstances to shift, I was waiting for you to see me as your source, not your surroundings. And now, because you didn't walk away, because you held on to the fragments, even when it hurt to hope, I say to you, it begins. The word I spoke over your life is stirring again. What you shelved in the back of your mind, thinking it was over, is now being pulled to the front. I didn't forget the ministry I called you to. I didn't forget the healing I promised. I didn't forget the doors I said would open, the impact I declared you'd have, the joy I said would overflow. I don't tease my children. I don't lie. And I never forget what I speak, because my word is eternal. And while you were weeping over the when, I was securing the how. This is the night where everything starts to come into view. The fog is lifting. The burden is shifting. And the soil that seemed barren is about to bloom. You will begin to see things move quietly at first, then suddenly. Conversations will happen. Opportunities will appear. Dreams you forgot how to dream will come alive again. And this time, they won't just inspire you, they will manifest. But hear me. Stay close. Stay surrendered. Because manifestation without obedience becomes momentum without direction. I don't want you to just see it, I want you to steward it. Walk with me. Let me lead. I will open every door I said I would open. I will honor every word I whispered into your spirit. But I must be your anchor through the fulfillment, just as I was through the waiting. Don't run ahead. Don't get distracted. Don't let the blessing make you forget the blesser. Tonight is not just about breakthrough, it's about reactivation. This is the appointed time. What I spoke will live again. And now watch me do what only I can. Don't let sudden change shake your trust. You've prayed for breakthrough. And now that it's arriving fast, don't shrink back in fear. I warned you this would come quickly. Asterisk, my child. I know how long you've waited, how many days you've endured in silence, how often you wondered if I was even moving. And now, when things are finally starting to shift, when the winds of change have started blowing and doors are opening faster than you expected, you feel overwhelmed, unsure, and tempted to resist what you've been asking for. But hear me clearly. This is not chaos, it's my sudden move. I told you I was preparing you. I told you it would come unexpectedly. And now, it's happening not because you forced it, but because I ordained it. The reason it feels fast is because it's been building quietly behind the scenes for years. You only see the eruption, but I've been forming the foundation since the moment I spoke the promise over you. What feels like sudden acceleration is actually divine alignment. Things are clicking into place, not because you're rushing, but because my timing has arrived. When I move, I don't always move gradually. I move decisively. Look throughout my word, and you'll see it over and over. Doors opening overnight, chains breaking instantly, waters parting in a moment, seasons shifting without warning. And I'm doing that again in your life. I'm moving suddenly to redeem time, to reclaim territory, to release favor that's been stored up. What sudden doesn't mean sloppy. I'm not rushing, I'm revealing. What I'm releasing has been sealed in heaven for such a time as this, and now it must come forth. Don't resist it just because it's uncomfortable. Don't panic just because you didn't have time to prepare. I prepared you. You don't need a step-by-step manual. You need me. I will guide you in real time. I will give you clarity as you go. I will light the path as you walk, not before you begin. This is the moment where faith will replace formulas. You've been trained in trust, and now you must move in it. The speed of this shift is not designed to harm you, it's designed to deliver you into what you couldn't reach at your own pace. I'm removing obstacles you thought would take years to solve. I'm cutting timelines in half. I'm elevating you in front of people who once ignored you, not for show, but for purpose. But you must anchor your soul in this truth: my pace is perfect. Do not let fear tell you that things are happening too fast. Instead, let your spirit say, "This is the Lord's doing." Because when I move suddenly, I also cover completely. No step will be missed. No detail will be forgotten. You won't be underprepared, you will be under my protection. Trust me. Stay close. Move when I say move. Rest when I say rest. And know this: the quickness of this shift is confirmation, not confusion. You've entered into a divine moment, and everything is changing because I'm in it. So don't fear the pace. Rejoice in the promise. The wait is over. And when I move, I don't hesitate. I move with glory, and I move now. Stop worrying about how it will happen. I've already gone ahead of you, and your name is written into places you haven't even imagined yet. Asterisk, asterisk, my beloved. While you were wondering how things would work out, I was already writing your name into the blueprint of my perfect plan. I'm not waiting for you to discover opportunities, I'm the one creating them. You don't have to beg, perform, or strive to be seen by man when you've already been known, chosen, and sealed by me. There are places I'm sending you where your face will be unknown, but your presence will be expected because I whispered your name into the hearts of those who have the keys. You don't need to chase doors when I'm the one who opens them. You don't need to stress over being positioned, I am positioning you. I've gone before you into boardrooms, ministries, platforms, and relationships you've never touched. I've already spoken on your behalf in rooms your feet haven't entered. While you were sleeping, I was aligning divine appointments. While you were weeping, I was opening gates. While you were quietly staying faithful in the background, I was setting up a future that will stun you. This is why I've been telling you to stop trying to force things that don't open. That closed door wasn't rejection, it was protection. I didn't let you knock where you weren't called. I didn't let you settle where you were only supposed to pass through. And I didn't let people keep you who would have broken what I'm building inside of you. Don't waste time trying to open what I've sealed. Focus on staying close to me, and I will lead you to doors that swing wide the moment you arrive, not because of your qualifications, but because of my ordination. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You don't need validation from those who never saw your struggle. I've marked you with favor they can't deny. And the rooms I lead you into won't ask for credentials, they will feel your assignment before you even speak. This is the kind of favor that doesn't make sense. It's the kind that confuses logic and bypasses limitation. But it's not random, it's righteous. It comes from your secret place, from the tears, from the surrender, from the yes you whispered when no one clapped. I saw it all, and I went ahead of you. You won't have to knock in desperation, the doors are already unlocking. You'll walk into opportunities you didn't apply for. You'll be remembered by people you never met. You'll receive favor in places you felt unqualified to stand. Because this isn't about your effort, it's about my faithfulness. I've gone before you. I'm making the crooked path straight. And I'm clearing the way for you to step into promises that have your name etched on them, not written in ink, but in eternity. So tonight, I need you to let go of striving and trust the sound of my footsteps ahead of you. I don't just walk with you, I walk before you. And what's ahead of you is not only prepared, it's been waiting for you. Keep moving. Your name is already there. Don't believe the lie that it's gone forever. I am the God of restoration, and I never allow the enemy to take what I cannot return multiplied. Asterisk, asterisk, my child, I have seen what was taken. I have watched as joy slipped from your hands, as peace dissolved quietly under the weight of battles you never expected. I saw the friendships that broke without warning, the opportunities that vanished without reason, the years that seemed to evaporate with no harvest to show for them. And I saw how the enemy whispered that you'd never recover, that what was lost had slipped into the void of too late. But I come to speak the opposite over you tonight. You will recover all. This is not hopeful thinking, this is my decree. I don't just give back, I restore. I rebuild. I resurrect. And I don't return things as they were, I return them better, refined through fire and reborn in purpose. The enemy didn't realize that by stealing from you, he activated a promise that I hold sacred. When the thief is caught, he must repay sevenfold. And now that the thief has been exposed, repayment is in motion. I am restoring the time you thought was wasted. I am redeeming the tears you cried in silence. I am recovering the parts of you that got buried under survival. You thought you lost yourself, but I've been guarding the pieces. And now, I'm bringing them back to you whole, healed, and holy. Watch how things start to come together again suddenly, supernaturally, and securely. What you thought was dead is only sleeping. I have kept records not of your failures, but of your faith. And because you continued to believe when it did make sense, because you didn't curse me in the dark, because you trusted me with your pain, I am releasing divine recovery. Relationships will be restored, not recycled, but redeemed. Opportunities will return not as a favor, but as fulfillment. And time, yes, even time will begin to stretch under my hand. You'll do more in months than you did in years. I am accelerating what was delayed. I am rebuilding what was broken. I am recovering what was stolen. But not so you can return to what was. No, I'm bringing you forward into what always should have been. This is not restoration back to your past, it's restoration into your promise. So don't grieve what you lost any longer. Don't keep revisiting graves I've called empty. What is coming is greater than what was taken. And what you gain in this season will carry my fingerprints. No one will be able to say it was luck. No one will claim it was earned. It will be undeniable that I did it. And you will not have to chase it, it will find you. Favor will find you. Healing will find you. Compensation will find you. And it begins tonight. So lift your head. Dry your eyes. This is not just recovery, this is redemption. Stop bracing for the bare minimum. I did not call you to barely make it. I called you to walk in overflow. And tonight the shift begins. Asterisk, asterisk, my child. I see how long you've lived in survival mode, stretching just enough hope to make it to the next day, praying for provision that covers just the current need, managing pain in pieces, functioning in your gift without the joy you once carried. You've become so used to holding things together that you've started calling survival your identity. But I never intended for you to live on scraps from the table. I invited you to dine in my presence. I never designed you to beg for peace, I crowned you with it. I didn't form you to chase crumbs, I formed you to carry abundance. The enemy has tried to convince you that the struggle is permanent, that lack is holy, that endurance is all you'll ever know. But I tell you now, no more. Tonight I declare a divine reversal. You are crossing over from dry land to rivers, from just enough to more than enough, from surviving to overflowing. Not because you earned it, not because you demanded it, but because I promised it. You've walked through fire, but you've come out refined. You've waited in faith, and now it's your time to receive in fullness. I am releasing provision you didn't expect, peace you forgot was possible, and joy that will shock your spirit. You've been faithful with little, I'm about to trust you with more. But this overflow isn't about money alone. It's about margin. You will no longer serve others from a place of emptiness. You will no longer smile while secretly drained. I'm restoring your soul, so you can pour without running dry. You'll have enough time to rest, enough space to dream again, enough strength to say yes to what matters and no to what drains you. And yes, material overflow will follow spiritual alignment. Watch how I release resources, connections, solutions, and supernatural favor, not to elevate your image, but to confirm my promise. You won't have to fight for it, it will flow. You won't have to manipulate outcomes, it will manifest. Why? Because you trusted me when it looked like nothing would change. You stayed when others quit. You honored me when you were empty. And now, I'm not just filling your cup, I'm making it overflow. To prepare, expand your expectation. Make room in your mind for more. Stretch your faith wider. I'm not just healing you, I'm launching you. I'm not just covering you, I'm pouring into you. You will no longer wake up bracing for impact, you will rise expecting increase. That's what tonight marks. A shift from scarcity to supernatural supply. And the overflow that begins tonight will not stop, it will multiply through your hands, your words, your obedience. It will bless others. It will glorify me. And it will remind you that you were never meant to survive, you were meant to flourish. So receive it. The drought is over. Now let it overflow. Before you pray for an escape, understand that the miracle isn't just in what I'm about to bring you out of, but in who I'm making you into while you're still in it. Asterisk, my child. I know the pressure you've been feeling, the silent weight pressing down on your chest, the longing in your heart to be released from what feels like a prison of delay, confusion, and pain. I hear you asking, Lord, when will this end? But tonight I want you to shift your question. Not when will this be over? But Lord, what are you doing in me while I'm still here? Because you see, I'm not simply concerned with solving your circumstances, I'm focused on forming you. You've been asking me to move you, but I've been using this place to mold you. I'm refining your character in the fire. I'm training your ears to hear me more clearly. I'm strengthening your heart to carry what's coming. I'm breaking off false identities that were never yours to wear. I'm building endurance not for survival, but for stewardship of the next season. The enemy hoped this season would break you, but instead, it's becoming the very place where I remake you. Every pressure point is producing deeper oil. Every tear has watered the soil of your becoming. And what I'm cultivating in you is not temporary, it's eternal. I'm teaching you how to trust me beyond what you see, how to praise even when the promise hasn't arrived, how to choose peace when the battle hasn't ended. Because this transformation is not about looking strong, it's about becoming anchored. I am replacing your reaction with revelation. I am trading your striving for stillness. I'm uprooting fear and planting fire. When the shift comes, and yes, it is coming, you won't just leave this season with answered prayers. You'll leave it different. You'll speak with authority. You'll carry compassion you didn't have before. You'll discern more clearly, love more deeply, and walk with a confidence rooted not in what changed around you, but in what I changed within you. And the world will take notice. They'll ask, what happened to you? And you will say, I didn't just survive, I transformed. I am not in a hurry because I care about your wholeness more than your timeline. And while I could remove you from the fire in a moment, I am walking you through it because what's being formed is too precious to rush. You won't come out smelling like smoke, you'll come out carrying glory. So don't just ask me to end this season, ask me to finish what I started in you. Because the version of you that walks out will be stronger, wiser, bolder, and more surrendered than you've ever been. The miracle isn't just the escape. It's the transformation. And it begins not later tonight. Don't underestimate the power of your yes, because what I'm about to release isn't random. It's the response to the obedience you gave me when no one was watching. Asterisk, my beloved. I have been watching the way you've obeyed me in secret. The way you've trusted me when the outcome wasn't clear. The way you've said yes to assignments that cost you comfort, applause, and sometimes even relationships. You obeyed when you didn't feel qualified. You obeyed when your heart was trembling. You obeyed when it seemed like obedience wasn't producing anything but isolation. But I tell you now, not one act of obedience has gone unnoticed. And tonight, I declare that your obedience is about to collide with my outpouring. Heaven is responding. Angels are moving. What was once held back is being released, not because of your perfection, but because of your positioning. You chose my will over your will. You didn't just believe me with your lips, you trusted me with your steps. And that obedience became a signal in the spirit. It marked you. It made room for glory. And now, I am releasing favor that has been waiting for this moment of convergence. This is not about random blessing, this is about divine fulfillment. You will see prayers answered that were attached to your surrender. You will watch as doors open that your obedience already unlocked. You will walk into spaces prepared for those who walk by faith and not by sight. And I will pour not just a drop, not just enough, but an overflow of what I've been storing in the invisible. What seems slow is now turning sudden. What looked barren is now fertile. What once felt like a test is becoming a testimony. But hear me, this isn't just about blessing, it's about trust. I'm pouring into you not to elevate your platform, but to expand your capacity to carry my spirit. And because you didn't worship the outcome, but honored my instruction, you're ready for what others would have mishandled. You will carry what others would have consumed. You will sustain what others would have squandered. Because I didn't pour when you asked, I poured when you were ready. And readiness is measured by surrender. Tonight, your yes becomes a door. Your obedience becomes the soil. And I will pour until the ground of your life begins to grow miracles, fruit that lasts, blessings that point back to me, and favor that others cannot explain. Don't miss this moment. Don't second-guess the instructions I gave you. Stay in position. Stay in alignment. Don't get casual with the places I've called you to carry reverence. Because what I'm doing is holy. This is not ordinary breakthrough. This is the release tied to obedience that cost you something. And what flows now will mark your life. You'll remember this night not because of emotion, but because of evidence. Because obedience is the birthplace of outpouring. And tonight it's time. Stop trying to figure out every detail. What I'm doing in your life right now is bigger than your logic, and your breakthrough depends on trust, not understanding. Asterisk, my child. I know how deeply you desire to understand what's happening. You've tried to connect the dots, to predict my moves, to make sense of closed doors, delayed answers, sudden shifts, and I expected silence. But tonight, I'm asking you to lay down the need to understand and pick up the will to trust. You've exhausted yourself trying to interpret what I've never asked you to explain. I don't need your analysis, I desire your agreement. Faith doesn't begin where everything makes sense, it begins where everything demands surrender. I am not trying to confuse you. I'm trying to carry you through a season that only my vision can navigate. You see fragments, I see the finished frame. You see today, I see generations. You wonder why I didn't answer the prayer the way you asked. But I'm answering it in a way that will bless you beyond anything you imagine. I'm not limited to your timeline. I'm not bound by your reasoning. And I don't need your full comprehension to complete my work in you, I only need your yes. Trust is not passive. It's not naive. It's powerful. It is the weapon that crushes fear, the anchor that holds you through the storm, the key that unlocks peace when nothing around you is calm. Right now, you're in a part of the process that requires blindness to your own understanding and a bold grip on my voice alone. I never promised you full explanation, I promised you my presence. And I am here, even in the dark, even when it doesn't add up, even when nothing looks like what I spoke. I am still guiding, still protecting, still moving. I am doing things you cannot yet perceive because they are supernatural. And the reason you haven't seen the full picture is because I'm still painting it. Would you trust the artist even when you're standing in the middle of the brushstrokes? Would you believe that I'm not finished and that what looks messy now will be a masterpiece later? You don't need to see how it's not your job to understand every turn. Your role is to stay with me. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep surrendering your logic to my leading. The path of miracles has never been paved with clarity, it's always been paved with trust. Abraham trusted without knowing the destination. Moses trusted when the waters hadn't parted yet. Mary trusted when she didn't understand how. And now, I'm inviting you into that same depth of faith where peace isn't found in answers, but in my presence. The more you try to make sense of it, the more you will delay the joy of simply resting in me. So tonight, stop wrestling for explanation. Start resting in expectation. I've got this. I've got you. And what I'm building won't just surprise you, it will change you. Understanding can wait. But trust starts now. Lay your weapons down, this fight was never yours to finish. And tonight I'm taking it out of your hands and placing it into the realm of my unstoppable authority. Asterisk, my beloved, I've watched you try so hard to hold everything together, fighting in silence, standing when no one saw the toll, defending yourself against false voices, pushing through waves of resistance that never seemed to ease. You've been trying to pray, trying to believe, trying to remain faithful even as your strength has been drained by constant battles, some in your mind, some in your heart, some in the very atmosphere around you. But hear me now. This is not your battle to fight any longer. I did not ask you to carry the weight of victory on your own. I did not ask you to argue with darkness or outsmart the schemes of the enemy. I called you to stand, not strive. I called you to trust, not wrestle. Tonight, I am making a holy shift. I am removing the burden from your shoulders and placing my hand fully upon it. You've done what I asked you, stood your ground. You've held on to my name, and now it's my turn. I am stepping into the storm with sword in hand, and I'm not coming to negotiate, I'm coming to overthrow. The attacks that have tormented your mind, the fear that has circled your peace, the confusion that tried to paralyze your purpose, I am confronting them with fire. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. This battle belongs to the Lord. I don't fight to survive, I fight to end it. And when I fight, there are no leftovers for the enemy to reclaim. I fight with finality. I silence every voice that dared to rise against you. I scatter the demonic assignments sent to wear you down. I cancel the word curses and break the patterns that tried to make you believe this would never lift. It's lifting now. Because when I step into a battle, heaven moves. Angels are dispatched. Strongholds are shattered. And tonight, I have drawn a line in the spirit. Enough. You've been faithful under pressure. You've praised me with trembling lips. And because of that, I'm about to show you what it looks like when I fight for you. Not alongside you. Not through you. For you. So stand still, not because you're giving up, but because you're giving it over. This is your moment of divine exchange. Your anxiety for my authority. Your exhaustion for my execution. I know you're tired, and that's exactly why I'm stepping in. Because the victory you need won't come from striving harder, it will come from standing in the power of my name. So tonight, release it all. Surrender the fight. And lift your eyes. Watch how I move. Watch how I restore. Watch how I vindicate. Because this is not just a season of warfare, it is a season of witnessing what happens when the Lord of hosts steps into your situation. I'm not just shifting the battle, I'm ending it. Before you pretend you're fine one more time, let me into the rooms of your soul you've kept locked. Because tonight, I'm not just touching your pain, I'm healing the parts even you forgot how to feel. Asterisk, my child. I've watched you cover your wounds with strength. I've seen you smile through silent suffering, convincing others and sometimes yourself that you've moved on. But deep beneath your functioning faith, your unshaken smile, and your busy schedule, I see the rooms you've closed off, the places inside of you where disappointment settled and numbness crept in. You stopped talking about it because you thought healing meant forgetting. You stopped bringing it to me because you believed I was done addressing it. But tonight, I'm returning to that place not to reopen pain, but to redeem it. The part of you that still flinches when you hear their name, the ache you've buried beneath responsibilities, the grief you pushed down so deep you stopped recognizing it as grief, I see it all. I remember every tear you didn't cry because you were too afraid they'd never stop. I recall every time you silenced your own voice to keep the peace. But I am not asking you to keep going like this. I'm asking you to let me in. I want to heal not just the visible parts, but the ones you covered with strength. Because true healing doesn't start with ignoring the pain, it starts with inviting me into it. And I don't enter those rooms with judgment, I enter with compassion. I am gentle, but I am thorough. I will sit with you in the memory. I will wrap my presence around the shattered pieces. I will restore what trauma stole, what betrayal broke, what years of silence buried. And I will give you something better than coping, I will give you wholeness. This is not surface-level comfort. This is deep healing, soul transformation, emotional resurrection. I'm not just after behavior change, I'm after heart repair. And the parts of you that you thought were permanently damaged, I'm restoring them now. You'll laugh without guilt. You'll rest without fear. You'll trust again, not recklessly, but wisely. The heaviness you've carried for so long will begin to lift, not because you figured it out, but because I stepped in. You'll feel again, dream again, love again, because I never created you to live in pieces. You are my child, and my will is not for you to hide your heart from the very one who created it. So tonight, unlock the door. Invite me into the parts you swore you'd never revisit. I am not afraid of your brokenness. I'm the healer of it. You are not too far gone. You are not too complicated. You are not too much. You are mine. And I have come not just to carry your pain, but to heal it. Not tomorrow. Not later. Tonight. Before you take another step forward in hesitation tonight, I'm severing every silent agreement you've made with fear that's been shaping your thoughts, your identity, and your decisions without your permission. Asterisk, my beloved. Fear has been quietly influencing more of your life than you realize. Not the loud, obvious fear you've already rebuked, but the subtle kind you've learned to live with. The kind that disguises itself as caution. The kind that sounds like what if. The kind that whispers, stay small so you won't fail. You've agreed with it silently, unintentionally, by overthinking, by delaying, by playing it safe, by not applying, by not speaking, by not showing up fully in the spaces I've assigned you to occupy. Somewhere along the way, you stopped dreaming boldly, stopped loving freely, stopped expecting joy without bracing for pain. And tonight I come to confront that fear, not to shame you, but to free you. I'm going to the root, not just the fruit, of what's been keeping you stuck. The fear of failure, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being left behind, the fear of stepping out and not being supported, the fear of trusting again, the fear of hoping again, the fear of starting over. Every one of them has been speaking over your destiny, and it stops now. I am breaking the contracts you didn't know you signed, the ones that gave fear permission to filter your vision and mute your voice. I'm tearing them up in the spirit. Because fear is not your protector, I am. Fear is not your wisdom, I am. Fear is not your reality, I am. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And that means you don't have to live shackled to imaginary outcomes anymore. You don't have to anticipate disaster where I've promised deliverance. You don't have to cling to comfort zones that are actually cages. Tonight, I am unlocking the door you've been too afraid to walk through. Not because you suddenly feel brave, but because I am walking with you. The fear that said you'll never make it. Watch me silence it with favor. The fear that said they won't choose you. Watch me handpick you in front of them. The fear that said you're too broken to begin again. Watch me rebuild with the very pieces you thought disqualified you. You've obeyed me while managing fear. Now I'm calling you to obey me in freedom. And this freedom won't just shift how you walk, it will shift how you see. You'll stop expecting the worst. You'll stop assuming loss. You'll start moving with confidence that doesn't come from outcomes, but from identity. Because when fear loses its voice, faith rises with volume. And faith is what pleases me, not performance. So tonight, release the fears you've buried. Renounce the agreements you never meant to make. And receive the courage that comes not from being fearless, but from being mine. I am the one who called you, covered you, equipped you, and now I'm freeing you. Not partially, not temporarily, but fully. From this moment on, fear will no longer be your counselor. I will be. Before you collapse from invisible battles, I'm stepping in to remove the silent weights you've been carrying so long you started thinking they were just a part of life. Asterisk, my child, you've been walking around with burdens that have attached themselves to you so quietly, so gradually, that you didn't even notice the drain. You wake up tired. You move through your day in survival mode, You smile while your spirit limps behind the scenes. And somewhere deep down, you began to believe this heaviness was normal, that the fatigue was just a sign of growth, that the anxiety was just part of responsibility. But I say to you tonight, it is not. This weight is not from me. This exhaustion is not your portion. I see what's been pulling at you behind closed doors. The relationships that subtly chip away at your joy. The responsibilities you were never meant to carry. The inner thoughts that cycle on repeat, wearing you down more than any outside pressure ever could. The emotional loads you've picked up from trying to be everything to everyone. The unspoken pressure to always appear strong, even when you're barely holding on. These things may seem small, even necessary, but over time, they've become leeches draining your fire, numbing your vision, and quietly delaying your destiny. And tonight, I'm not asking, I'm intervening. I'm removing what you've tolerated, what you excused as just how it is, what you carried because no one else would. I'm severing unhealthy soul ties, closing open doors to emotional manipulation, cutting off lingering guilt, and lifting the mantle of false responsibility. I'm stepping into the background noise of your life and silencing everything that's been stealing your strength. Because I didn't call you to live drained, I called you to live poured into. You don't serve me best when you're depleted. You don't shine brightest when you're barely surviving. You are not more spiritual for carrying what I never asked you to bear. Let me be your sustainer. Let me be your rest. Let me be your defender so you don't have to constantly prove, explain, or hold it together. You were not designed to carry the world, you were designed to carry my presence. And my presence doesn't drain, it fills. It doesn't exhaust, it revives. It doesn't burden, it lifts. So tonight, lay it down. Whatever it is, whoever it is, lay down what drains you, even if you don't yet know how to live without it. I will show you. I will restore what that heaviness cost you. I will breathe new energy into your soul. I will fill your lungs with peace. And when you walk forward from this moment, it will not be with dragging feet but with lightness. You'll feel your pace return, your vision clear, your creativity flow, your laughter rise. Because when I remove what drains, I replace it with life. So trust me, it ends tonight. Not because you figured it all out, but because you surrendered it all to me. Amen.